Hello everybody, it's Veda here, and today I'm going to be benchmarking Still Wakes the Deep, which is a horror / psychological horror story game, and I'm going to be benchmarking the RTX 3060 Ti here today. I've got the latest Nvidia drivers to do this, so let's jump on inside the game and start benchmarking. Alright, so here we are in the main menu, and yes, it says we're playing at 60 FPS right now, but it's just because we're in the main menu, I'm pretty sure. But to begin with, we're going to be playing at 1080p in full screen mode, of course. I have the motion blur, film grain, and chromatic aberration turned off because I personally don't like any of those settings. If you're going for a more cinematic effect, you could turn film grain on, I guess, but usually I like to have a clearer image. We're playing at the Epic preset at 100% resolution. Epic is the ultra preset essentially for this game. It's the highest settings that you can have. I've gone ahead and turned VSync off, of course, and we're playing with the TSR on Epic as well. I don't seem to have the option to use either AMD or Nvidia DLSS in this game, so we're just going to be sticking to TSR right now. And yeah, that's about it. Let's jump into the game and start benchmarking. Alright, and here we are in the game. I just quickly adjusted my FOV because it was like really tiny. I was playing at like 90 FOV, which is way too low for me, so I just went ahead and bumped it all the way up to 100%. Now, as you can probably notice already, this game is quite graphically demanding. We are completely GPU bound here. Is this a room? Why can't I open this? Oh, it opens towards me. Ah, that's where we started. Okay. So yeah, as you can clearly see though, it is quite graphically intensive here on the GPU. It's quite taxing. We are completely GPU bound. This one, it is definitely quite intensive. Now, you can play a game like this at 40 FPS, I would say, because it is a story-based game. It's, it's one of these like click and... It seems to be one of these games where you're just clicking on things. We're just gonna skip cutscenes and stuff because we are here to benchmark. I might play this game later, but I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I just want to get to the actual like playing around. Okay, that's gonna get me absolutely destroyed on YouTube. Let's not go that way. So I didn't know that was there. We're just gonna be running around a little bit here. But yeah, it's playing anywhere from like 40 to 60 FPS. It is fluctuating a bit. It seems like we are just on the starting ship. I think we're on a ship. Are we on a ship? I think we're either on we're either on a ship or we're on like a coast, or maybe we're on what's it called now? What are those like oil rig stations? I don't know where we are technically. We're somewhere at sea anyways. That's pretty evident, right? But yeah, you can totally play like this. It probably doesn't feel as good as 60 FPS. I don't know yet because we haven't got to that yet, but we will try some lower settings. But in terms of CPU and RAM, barely using either one. So yeah, it looks like you probably don't need that good of a CPU or very much RAM to play this game. It's just very graphically intensive, clearly. Yeah, we're creeping a little bit above 5 gigs of VRAM, but about 40 to 50 FPS I'm going to say that we'll be able to play at here. Yeah, it does look like I might give this game a go, but usually I don't play these story games or horror games or anything like that. I like watching them, but I don't like playing them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, do you guys fall into that category as well? I kind of just enjoy watching other people play these kinds of games. I don't really find them that entertaining myself to sit down and play, but yeah, it looks like all these doors are locked. But the game looks fine. It looks good. I don't think the game looks bad. Particularly the windows look really good. Like, look how good the rain effect looks there. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's not bad at all graphically, but it is very intensive. Let's try some lower settings here at 1080p and see what kind of FPS we can achieve with some lower settings, because clearly for those of you that are interested in hitting 60 plus FPS, we are going to have to lower some settings, right? So let's get on with that. Alright, so all I've gone ahead and done, we're still playing at 1080p, we're still playing at 100% resolution, but all I've gone and done is the quality preset. I've just gone from epic to high. Funny enough, this game only has the high preset and epic. There's nothing else. It's literally high and epic. But the high settings are definitely higher than what you can play at. You can definitely lower them even more here manually, but the two actual presets that are available is high and epic for whatever reason. There's no lower presets, but all you got to do is come in here and lower these. But we are playing still with TSR. It's on high now, and some of the settings, pretty much everything is on high rather than epic, and we're going to give this a go. It should be okay. And yeah, going from epic to high, we're now getting around that 60 FPS range, which is more than fine for a game like this. I don't really see any reason to need more than like 55, 60 FPS for a game like this. You know, maybe you are somebody who's like super sensitive to lower frame rate. You know, if you play games at like 200 FPS or whatever, maybe then, but like it's a casual game. I don't think you need, that was a bit janky, but I don't think you need very high FPS for a game like this. I don't really want to talk to these people because it's just a bunch of conversations that we don't need to have. Everything's locked. But yeah, 60 FPS, guys. It's probably going to be like this in a lot of places. I've not noticed any kind of like stuttering yet, which is quite nice to see. I have got the game installed on a standard SSD. It's not on an NVMe. It's just on a standard SSD. So it's nice to see that it is running pretty smoothly here. Because I've had a lot of issues recently with some newer games and just games in general with stuttering. Even when they're installed on an SSD, there's still like micro stuttering like constantly, and it seems like a lot of games need to be installed on an NVMe now to actually like prevent that, which is pretty annoying. But it doesn't seem like this game is going to be one of those games because I've had no jankiness yet, nothing like that, other than that jankiness when I got to the cutscene of the just there at the canteen. But I think that was more to do with the fact that it was just the camera like bugged out rather than like a stutter, right? So we're gonna go ahead. You can actually see how long it takes to load out to another area. Didn't even know there was loading screens or anything in this game. We're gonna go outside. I think we're on an oil rig. I think so. I've never been outside in the game. Obviously this is my first time here, but 60 FPS does seem like it's gonna be the normal. Now it might be more intensive outside actually. Yeah, we're on an oil rig. All right. I guess that right, I guess. So let's go out here. We are actually getting less FPS outside. We are at about 50 FPS now, as opposed to the 60 that we were getting earlier. Let's climb down here. Wow, that takes a long ass time to climb. Jeez. But we are down. The game looks pretty good. Even at 1080p, the game still looks pretty good. 50 FPS, it's completely fine for a game like this, but what I'll do now is, just for the fun of it, is I'm going to lower everything to the lowest settings in the game just to see what we could theoretically get, right? Alright, so here we are, 1080p. I've now got the game set to the lowest settings. Now, lighting only goes high and epic, so there's no other settings for that, so that's just going to stay on high, but everything else is either low or it's turned off, as you can see. So let's see what it runs like here. And the surprising thing is, we haven't actually gained that much FPS by going from like ultra to lowest settings. We got some weird like, I don't know if you can see the borders of my screen are bugging out. I don't know what that's about, but we got some weird bugging of the border of the screen. I think you guys probably could see that. But we are now at like 60 to 70 FPS, so we've gained maybe, okay, we have gained a decent amount of FPS when you actually think about it. Going from 50 to 70 is quite a jump, but going from 50 to like 60, not so much. Going from ultra to the lowest settings, right? Game still looks fine. You can still happily play like this. It just looks like it's from like 2017 now, though. It doesn't look like it's a more modern game. But can we vault over this? No. Skip. Now their faces are super low res though, like that's not great. But yeah, this is completely fine though. Like in terms of playability, it's way more playable now. It's not like it was bad anyways. Oh, can I not go up there? Okay, I was just testing it. Just testing it. I really don't know where we're going. Just kind of messing around. But if you wanted to hit that 60 FPS range, you can do it. Probably at medium kind of settings rather than low. But I just went and lowered it to the lowest just for the sake of seeing what we get. You know, I don't feel like I need to go through every single preset in the game. But the VRAM usage has dropped down to about 4 gigs, which is fine, or utilization, which is fine. You know, it was fine already at the 5 gigs that we were using.
Scooby, give me a heart attack.
What are you on about, lad? Alright. Could you understand what he was talking about? I mean, I could, but could you? Probably can't even understand me, to be honest, can you? With my accent. Oh. It's broken. It's broken. Alright, let's fix it, I guess. Alright, we need some new fuses. Alright, it's operational again. Don't know how I figured that one out. I just kind of pressing and hoping for the best, I guess. But yeah, playing at 1080p lowest, if you absolutely need that 60 FPS, you can do it here with the 3060 Ti. It's kind of crazy to think that I'm having to say this in a game like this. You know, because games like this you wouldn't think are that intensive, but they are. they certainly are intensive. I remember when Outlast came out on my old PC, I was getting like terrible FPS, like 20-something FPS on Outlast, either Outlast 1 or Outlast 2. It was not good, considering that it was like just a casual story-based game, and I was playing like FPS shooters and stuff like that and RTS games. I was like, oh, I'll just try some Outlast, why not? Terrible FPS back in the day. But yeah, it's completely fine. Let's try 1440p just for the fun of it. We'll give that a go. All right, so I bumped the resolution up to 1440p. We're still playing at the absolute lowest settings that you can in the game, so we'll see how this runs here with 1440p. It's definitely much like the image is way cleaner in terms of how it looks, but look at something weird is look at that like station thing there, like that tower. It looks blurry, right? There's like a distortion effect, a depth of field effect, it would seem, that's making like distant things look blurry. I hate when games do this. I think it looks awful. But in terms of how the game is actually playing right now, 50 FPS, like I said before, for 1080p, it's pretty fine. Like, it's not 100% perfect, but you can play a game like this no problems at 50 FPS. Bearing in mind though, we are at the lowest settings, so like the game doesn't look absolutely amazing, but it's playable. I wouldn't complain playing the game like this. Like, if the game released with these graphics, I wouldn't really care, right? If I'm playing a game like this, you don't usually play games like this for the graphics. You play them for the horror aspect or for the story part of it, right? You don't really care. Oh my god.
Jesus, Gregor! Gregor!
And these games always look a little bit funky, at least to me. You know, they're usually not the best graphics, but they're not the worst. They're just weird. It seems like they test like new technology out when they make these kinds of games, you know, like with motion sensors and stuff like that, like motion capture. I don't know. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Like some of these like horror games, the characters like mouth movements and stuff are a bit janky. It just kind of feels like they're testing stuff out on them. I don't know, is that probably just talking a lot of rubbish, but yeah, there's a lot of hole skipping here, Jesus. And just for the sake of it, let's try out some higher settings here at 1440p. You probably don't want to play any higher than low, because the FPS is probably not going to be too good, but we'll try it out anyways. Okay, so I think this is going to be the final test that we're going to be doing here today for this game, and it's going to be 1440p. I am playing on the high preset. It says custom because when I switched it to high, I'll quickly show you here. When I switched it to high, it lowered the 3D resolution down to 75%, and I manually like dragged that back up. So that's why it says it's on custom, even though it's on high. So we're using high settings, motion blur, not motion blur, sorry. We got the vertical sync turned off because it also turns that back on. So yeah, 1440p, high settings. Let's give this a try. And the game looks a lot better, actually. I can actually pretty easily tell the shadows and stuff are significantly better. Like, the game does look way better than the lowest settings, but it doesn't feel too good right now. 30 FPS. Oh, it's a deep sea diving vessel, I believe. Hello. Let's get up there. Let's go and oh, you gotta hold it. Come on. Come. Man, come on. Controls are a little bit janky. I've got to like push forward while holding it rather than just holding it. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. Oh, that's not good.
Thank Christ!
The faces are still looking quite blurred at a bit of a distance. You could see that guy's face was pretty blurry, but whatever, right? 40 FPS. I mean, it's sub 40. It's not ideal. Alright, I'm coming, mate. Alright.
You have to release the brake first.
Alright, mate. I'll release it. I think it's over here. That will be a no. It must be downstairs. Where is it? But I'm just playing around a little bit just to get a feel for how the game actually feels playing at this kind of FPS, right? It's pretty difficult for me to make a judgment call if I
Come back and winch up the bell now.
Alright, I'll do it. Yeah, it's pretty difficult for me to get a feel, like, to give my opinion on the game if I don't play it for a little bit, right? So yeah, playing at this FPS doesn't feel perfect.
What happened?
I don't know, lad. Anyway, so it doesn't feel perfect to play at this FPS, but can you play it like this? Yes, you could. You could play it like this, especially if you're going to be playing on a controller. And if you set an FPS cap, it won't feel as janky, I don't think, if you set an FPS cap a little bit below the FPS that I am getting here. Just because it won't be fluctuating as much all over. And it'll just be a bit smoother right on the frame time graph. It's really the frame time graph that you can feel subconsciously usually. You know, when it's all over the place, you can feel it. Because some moments feel smooth and other moments are a bit janky and yada yada, you know, when your frame time graph is all over the place. But yeah, I'd say you could play like this. It's definitely a massive graphical quality increase. I did not see that, Jesus Christ. But it's definitely, the game definitely looks way better right now than it did on low settings. Am I supposed to like... Well, I'm dead, I guess. I thought I could parkour into that, but I saw the thing underneath it, but I thought I could parkour over. But anyways, it's definitely a massive graphical quality increase here from the absolute lowest settings. Oh, it does what every game does, where they put like yellow, where they put like yellow stuff or whatever on rocks and stuff, like subconsciously, well not subconsciously, but just to tell you where to go. I really don't like games that do that. Let me figure out my own. You know what I mean? We just go ahead and just skip this. Oh, isn't this like a bacterial infection that's coming up? Oh, I think I know a bit about this game actually, but yeah, you could play like this. Absolutely. Alright, so it's locked. Okay, gotta figure it out. Gotta figure it out, guys. Oh, you just hold it. Okay. Wait, oh, that was S. Sorry guys, don't know where my WSAD keys are. I've only been playing PC games for the better part of like 13 years and I don't know where keys are still. It's fantastic, isn't it? But yeah. Oh, it's... okay. So it's one of these games where it's like quick time events and stuff. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, it does look like a game that could be quite enjoyable to play, I guess. I might give it a go, like I said before. Well, let's open this door. There we go. But I think that's going to do it for today's video. 40 FPS, mid-30s at this at 1440p, like high settings. I could probably play like that. I probably would play like this just because it looks way better than the lowest settings, even though we are losing a bit of FPS. It's really not that much FPS difference when you consider how different the game looks, like how much better it looks. But yeah, 1080p and 1440p, both playable, not super high FPS for either resolution at any settings really, but playable enough for a story-based game like this, right? So yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for checking out the video. Leave a like if you found any use out of this. Subscribe for more benchmarks. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves and goodbye for now. Yes.